we're going to pull out our seat and we're going to lower our knee restraint down so our knees can stay nice and tight throughout this movement. We are going to focus on pulling from in front. We're going to go over the two different types of rows to target the two different areas of your back. We're going to start off with the bilateral row. That's two arms at one time. I'm going to focus on my lats on this first row. And so we're going to pull down to our hips and squeeze our armpits when we arrive at the bottom. If I decide to take my lats past my torso, this way, I'm going to start working other things. I'm going to work additional muscles such as the lower traps, middle traps, rhomboids, and teres. Our setup is going to be the same for our upper back rows. We're going to perform a depressed scapular retraction set up with a nice big chest. As opposed to where I just pulled down to my hips, I'm now going to focus on keeping my hands in pronation, or my palms facing down. From here, I'm going to pull my elbows high, and I'm going to focus on squeezing my shoulder blades more so than squeezing my armpits. Now, when we're performing a two-arm row such as this, you may notice a bit of instability in your torso. There's no chest support here. I'm not performing a chest-supported row, and so you may notice your body moving backwards and forwards with the motion, causing momentum to occur when we're trying to perform this exercise. To combat that, one of my favorite forms of a row is oftentimes a single-arm row for that very reason. So, I'm going to set up the same way as my two-arm row, except I'm going to use my other arm to stabilize my torso and make sure nothing else moves except for my arm. I'd rather avoid a pronated grip as the elbow comes out to the side far too much. When we inwardly rotate and pull, we're able to keep optimal joint alignment and focus on just the muscles we want. Once that elbow is inwardly rotated in a straight line with my elbow and my wrist and my shoulder, I can pull straight down to that hip. And lastly, if I want to target my upper back, working unilaterally with just one arm at a time, I'm going to place my arm nice and stable on the seat in front of me, and I'm going to pull with a pronated grip, or my palm facing down, my elbow straight back, and squeeze my shoulder blade. A lot of gyms will not have the setup we just used for our other rows. And while I prefer that setup, most commercial gyms will have a setup more along the lines of something like this, a seated row variation, and that's fine. You may still find that same torso instability that we found on our two-arm rows on the other machine that we just used. And so, what I tend to do on a machine like this is get off the seat and use it for your stability. So, while there is a plethora of different ways that we can align our body, such as here or here, the main concept is stabilizing that torso. So I'm going to set up in a position in which I can stabilize my torso from moving, just like the other machine, and I can pull my elbow back in a neutral grip and squeeze.